Hey guys, welcome back to King's Outdoor Life. If you're one of my regular watchers or whatever you call a YouTube video person, anyway, if you're one of my regulars, this may not be a video for you. But if you're here because you saw the title, this may be exactly what you're looking for. Today we are replacing this cooktop. Yesterday, after I cooked breakfast, and it was a great breakfast by the way, eggs, biscuits, gravy, the works, a arc right here it's lit up and like an arc on a welder, and this thing's dead. So we are going to replace this. So step one, turn off the breaker. Step two, make sure the breaker is off. And step three, make sure you flip the breaker and the power is off. You don't want to die doing this. Next thing, we're going to unhook it from the power, and I'm going to change on the other side of the island to do that. So you want to find your power supply. In this case, when they wired in my house, they gave me a couple of choices here to choose from. We got a 110 on top there, and you got the 220 coming in below. The reason I am so serious about making sure the power's off, when they were wiring this in, I was here when they were building my house, they were wiring in this plug, the guy was flipping the breaker, and he was working on the cooktop. Well, he flipped the wrong breaker, and we still had power to this one, which is the 220, which is the cooktop. He had turned off the plug here, which also supplies plugs on the outside of the island here. So as you can see, you've got a line coming in here. That's your in. This side over here is your out. So what you want to do is you want to first of all take this cover off. In order to be decode, you should have a cover on any junction box, which this one does. I'm going to switch this around. I got a light here. I'm going to put the camera right beside the light, and since I'm right-handed, I'll come from this side to undo this screw. Once you remove your cover, you see, I'm going to change my volume, my voice now. I'm up in the island with the camera. I don't want it to be too loud. You got two hot wires, and you'll have a ground wire. So you can see the ground is connected here, and then you've got your red and your black. So you can unwire nut these and separate these wire nuts. If you can see there where that black is, I think that's where the guy was wiring this before, and the breaker wasn't off, and he got quite a little light show when he connected those two wires. Alright, so make sure your breaker is off. Move the next step here. You have to get some pliers to separate those. And the next thing you'll do is you'll take this loose. That's to hold this flexible conduit so this can be pulled out. All right, so I got that loose. I'll take this loose, and then we'll go to the other side and show you how we take that out. So here we are on the other side of the island. I'll back up. You can see the island here. This is my microwave up underneath, and you can see the cooktop is underneath. First thing you want to look for is there's sometimes brackets that are holding this cooktop down. There's where you see the wire came from the other side. In this case, they didn't put the brackets on there. It could be required by code based on what area you're in. In this case, there's not code governing that. Otherwise, me not being a licensed electrician, I wouldn't be able to do this in the first place. So I'll try to keep this in the frame here. With using only one hand, it's going to be hard to do. Basically, what I got to do is push up on that, and it will lift straight out. So I'm going to move the camera right here. Camera right here for you. I'll tilt it down just like that. All right, now, if you just lift straight up, this will come out, and then you got to pull that wire, make sure you can see that here, the wire that feeds right down there, you want to pull that out. You don't want that to get hung up and then halt your momentum. So all you do then, pull this straight out and lift the side. That cooktop only weighs, I don't know, less than 20 pounds probably, maybe 22 pounds or something. And you can see here around the edge, or maybe you can or you can't see, there's some like the, what you call like a tape that you use to put that down. I'm just going to use my scraper that you've probably seen sitting on the counter right over there. I'm going to use my scraper and we'll scrape all that tape sealant thing up. And we'll clean this up and be ready to go.
On this side here.
Today is my wife's birthday, so happy birthday, Jennifer. Those of you who are watching this within any time close to when it releases. And I was kidding people at lunch today and said, guess what I got my wife for her birthday? A brand new cooktop. But hey, at least we're getting it replaced the day after it died. At least we had it in stock at my local store where I buy all my stuff, and I was able to get this replaced immediately. All right, so you want to scrape this off. I don't really recommend putting any cleaner or anything on it right now because I'm about to come back with another piece of tape, and you don't want to leave some sort of residue that tape's not going to stick to. So clean it real well, unless you've got something you know you can get it dry, or unless you want to wait a while to make sure it dries, which I don't. Then clean it dry and leave it on there and go from there. So I've scraped all this off. All right, I'm gonna go get the cooktop and we'll show you the next step. All right, so here's the replacement cooktop. This is a Whirlpool. And first thing I want to do is make sure it fits. Yes, it's supposed to fit, but I want to make sure it fits. Set this up here. All right, so very sad turn of events there. As I was putting it in, it didn't just slide right down in there like it should. I thought, well, what's the deal? It should measure the same, right? Wrong. My opening here is 29 inches. The previous cutout was 28.5, so they gave me an extra half inch. But sadly, I don't know if you can see it or not, we're at 29 and, I mean, like 28 and 7/8, or really 29 even. I'd say they're 29 even all the way across. Well, the new cooktop needs 29 and a 1/16, so I need a 1/16 of an inch extra, and also this wood here is going to hit. So why does everything have to be a problem, right? So anyway, first things first, I'm gonna cut off the wood, and then I'm gonna figure out a way to somehow, I'm gonna try a Dremel tool, or I'm gonna try a side grinder to take off about a 1/16 of an inch of granite. Last thing I want to do is start hacking on my granite countertops, but I've called the place that makes them. This is the size now. Good luck with that. So anyway, so I don't have much choice here. So still trying to think of another idea other than Dremel tool or a side grinder, but I'll come back to that. All right, so the dimensions of this cooktop, the new one, are a little different than the old one, of course. Nothing's ever the same. It's 3.5 inches deep. So where the wood was hitting, I had to cut that off. So if you can see here, I went down to 3.5 inches from here. A little more actually, because it didn't matter. I just needed it not to hit. And over here, and same thing on this side. So now, sadly, I have to cut one side or the other of this granite back 1/16. And I'm dreading that to no end. The last thing you want to do as a homeowner is to saw your granite countertops. I think I'm going to saw this side because it's kind of got some rough spots already. That's where I'm going to go. All right, let's set up a little bit of a dust collection method and hope for the best. All right, so if you've never seen them cut granite or concrete, you don't know, but the dust goes everywhere. So I set up a tent to encapsulate with our old sheets that I found in the closet. Just don't tell my wife I'm using sheets to encapsulate granite dust here. But anyway, I'm about to climb under there and try to grind it off and see how it goes.
It did.
Yep.
Holy smokes, it clean.
So what I've done here, this foam strip comes in 4 1/4-inch pieces. I'm gonna split it in half. It gives different instructions for different ones. I just want it to sit right on the edge. It's really I guess if you got uneven surfaces, to make it sit flat. This surface is good and flat being the granite. I'm not concerned about that, but it will just kind of help things from getting up under there. But I don't want it to be too wide and it risks coming out the sides, because it fit really well before. So if you can see, I've got the range sitting upside down on the foam packaging that it came in. And then you can just be sure you don't put the knobs against the foam. Let the knobs hang out to one side. So now get the other side. Stretch it out. Of course, it didn't give me near enough for it to do the whole way. So we'll just do it in the middle section here. All right, so I got to feed the wires back through this hole right here, and then just take this and flip it up. Make sure you don't drop it. Ooh, and turn it around the right way. That'd be nice. It'd be great to put it in backwards, wouldn't it? See it right down in your hole. Just like so. All right, now I gotta wire it in and we're good to go. All right, so we're back where we started. We gotta wire it in. Here you can see this plug is for the microwave. I'll leave it for now. And then this is the wiring for the cooktop. So I gotta feed it through there and then just color code it, red to red, black to black, ground to the ground. So I'm gonna try to set the camera here and record this, but tight space, and I'm right-handed and nothing's where it needs to be. So anyway, let's see if I can't set the camera now without knocking it over and record this wired in. All right, got that in there all the way to where the conduit is all the way seated. And tighten that down the conduit. So now the wire won't pull back.
So let's see. I'm going to cut some of those wires off. Those are awful long, especially the ground. Black, red, red.
I'm not built to work in tight spaces. I don't fold up well. All right, there's that one. Here's the red one.
Now here we're going to have 3 wires. I'm going to take one first and I'm going to cut that one. I'll fold this down, tuck this one around. Check that, make sure you don't have any
Exposed wire shining there. I'll tuck this down here. We're gonna make sure we push this back far enough. And you don't want this wire to be right behind the screw, because you're gonna tighten the screw down on this plate. You don't want to pinch it. Look at it like so. one more turn. Make sure it's tight. All right, now we put the microwave back up. That was pretty neat way my builder did this with my plug right here. And then he came off this plug here and wired in a plug and a switch over here. All right, we'll go flip the breaker, make sure it works, look for sparks. All right, I flipped the breaker back on. No smoke or sparks at the junction box. You can see the reflection of the light there above. That's what this is. Here are the, obviously, let's turn on one of these back eyes so there's not such a reflection. So this one right here, it turned on the indicator light. The cooktop is on, so we got power and we got heat. I bet these things are going to stink first time we use them. All right, so this was a 15-minute project that turned into maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. It took me as long to clean up as it did anything else. It's such a mess with all that dust. But my little tent trick, I felt like I was at my grandma's playing the tent game, making a tent out of quilts again. But anyway, that tent trick worked. It just made the mess down in here where the microwave, that's where the microwave is, and where the pots and pans and stuff go under there. So this was a total mess here, but it pretty well contained the mess to this area. Yeah, when I started the project, I thought it was going to be a 15-minute project. I figured it would take me longer to edit this video than to replace it, but since it didn't fit, it took longer. Oh, just a side note here, I ended up taking that foam off. It was raising this up and leaving a gap under here. I may come back and put some silicone or something, just a real thin bead, but I did not want that foam in there was making a gap where I know food and stuff was going to go under that, and that would drive me crazy. So anyway, I took the foam off and just set this so it sits nice and flush now, and we're good to go. Hope you enjoyed the video. Click like, subscribe, and share this with a friend. Thanks for watching.